IVC, Dale Gatefold 33 here. This is a recent spins video for the month of August 2020. So some of the records that I have listened to in August, and most of these records, or the driver behind listening to most of these records is sort of reaching into my collection and picking out records that I haven't listened to for quite a while, and kind of revisiting them. Apart from the first two are VC inspired, shall we say, so I'll deal with them first. So first one, there'd been a Show Your Stones thread going round, and Shannon D was very, very praising of this album, the Rolling Stones Emotional Rescue. So I don't know why I need to look at the title there. I knew what it was, and that was one that I had purged into the garage, into the depths of my garage, ready to kind of do something with, either take to a charity shop or sell, depending on what I decide to do with it. And so I rescued it and revisited it, and actually it is pretty good. It's not their best by any stretch, in my opinion, but it's a good album and certainly worthy of being part of my Stones collection. So that's gone back into the collection. So that was thanks to Shannon for kind of making me do that. So that was I enjoyed that. And then James Griffiths was showing some recent finds, and was showing some Camel albums. And I like Camel's first four albums really. I love Camel's first four albums and don't really care for much after that. This is their second album, Mirage, and yes, I revisited this. This is great, really great album. Got some sort of really great tracks. I find Camel and Caravan, and because I don't like prog that's too proggy, and I think these are sort of more, I guess, symphonic prog. I quite like. I find it more accessible, and Camel fit into that kind of genre for me. I'm not a massive fan of the likes of Yes and Rush and stuff like that. I find their material just too proggy for me. Emerson, Lake and Palmer as well is a particular example of an artist that I don't care for at all. I've tried. I've probably had most of their albums in the past, but just not my thing. But this is a fantastic album, highly recommended. So it was good to revisit that. So as I say, the rest are kind of stuff that I haven't listened to for ages, and thought I would give it a revisit. So first up, and these are probably in alphabetical order because I just pulled them out of the shelves. So Beautify Junkyards, and I think this is their debut self-titled album from 2013. I will just double check that it is their debut. But these are psych folk, certainly, psychedelic folk, I would say. Yeah, this is their debut. I've got all three of their albums. Really enjoyable female vocals, predominantly, with kind of ethereal, psyche, layered, textured music. I think their most recent, or maybe the last two, have been on Ghostbox. So if you like the Ghostbox label, then they fit into that. Their first one was on Metro Disc or Discos, but not sure where they're from. I think they're from Portugal. So really good. Psychedelic folk. Beautify Junkyards. The next one, so this is needs no introduction really. Creedence Clearwater Revival's Cosmo's Factory. So this was a boot sale find from several years ago, and the reason I gave this a spin is there is I think there's a half speed mastered reissue coming out, and I've bought far too many records this year, and I need to go on a vinyl diet soon. But I thought this is a bit of a battered copy, so I played this to think, do I need to upgrade? Because I'm trying to get a bit more selective on what I'm buying, and maybe buying albums that I've already got is something I'm going to avoid. So although I was tempted by the half-speed mastered reissue that's coming out of this, I played this. It's probably a good VG, bit crackly in places, but I've decided it'll do for now. I'm going to say I'm trying to sort of rein in my purchases, and therefore I'm going to buy stuff that's maybe new to me in the future if I am going to if I don't end up going on a complete diet, or what would it be, a famine? No. But yeah, so that's that. Next, this is another one I need to quickly do a bit of looking up. So I should have prepped for this video. Apologies. So this is, and you probably can't see for the rather colourful Cara Dillon, 1,000 Hearts. Hence the picture on the cover, I guess. So this is Cara Dillon's 5th album. So her first album came out in 2001. This came out in 2014. This is the first one, certainly that I know of, that came out on vinyl. Cara Dillon, there she is a folk singer, very kind of traditional folk singer. So I don't know where that is. Yeah, something Irish, as far as I'm aware. And she's part of a sort of, I know there are lots of kind of like folk families that go around, but she is married to Sam Lakeman, who is a brother of Seth Lakeman. Seth Lakeman, I think, is quite a well-known folk singer, had a number of records out. Her husband is also part of the folk scene, and I think there's another Lakeman brother in as well, and they kind of been part of a I think they were part of a group before this with Kate Roosby, who from the northeast, who's also a very sort of famous UK folk singer in sort of the modern folk singers. But yeah, Cara Dillon, as I said, Irish. A lot of her music sounds very, you can tell it's Irish or Irish type folk. Very, again, ethereal. I keep using that term. I don't know if that's the right term. Almost like I don't know, Enya dial back to folk. So she's got that, and that's a terrible example. So let's scratch that. She, very, very pure crystal folk voice, and normally a heavy melancholy tilt to the song she does. Very little kind of upbeat jig type stuff. It's more normally melancholy ballad type stuff that she does. And I've had all of her albums up to this point. So that's the previous 4 I've got either on CD or digitally. So this was the first on vinyl. And when I got it in 2014, I kind of listened to it and thought, yeah, it's all right. And that's kind of meant I've stopped with Cara Dillon. I haven't bought anything since. But revisiting this, having not played it probably since about 2014, actually I really enjoyed it. And so highly recommended, as are, say, the albums, all of our albums before that. So Cara Dillon. Said far too much on that. Next, this is a not particularly loved album. So Everything But the Girl, I do really enjoy Everything But the Girl. Sophistic pop, very 80s. And this is not of their albums, is not probably the one that certainly the critics loved, but I really have a soft spot for it. The one after it, Idlewild, is probably my favourite, but this Baby the Stars Shine Bright, I think it's got some really good songs. Again, it kind of blends, let's say, the 80s pop with Tracy Thorn's melancholic tone. So Ben Watt, I think, does a lot of the songwriting and production, and Tracy did the singing. Enjoyed revisiting that. So I always enjoy that album, even though it is not very well loved. Oops, next I've got the album between a gatefold. Keith Hartley Band, so good 70s rock. Keith Hartley, drummer, and part of the Keith Hartley Band is Miller Anderson. Now I'm just trying to think, was Miller Anderson still there when this album was made? So I need to check that. Yes, he was. Good. Yeah, because Miller Anderson does the vocals. Keith Hartley is the drummer. And so, yeah, Miller Anderson, who I do really like his vocals and like his solo album. But yeah, this album, The Battle of Northwest 6, which is obviously a part of NW6, is a part of London. So, yeah, really good. Not their strongest. I think some of their other albums like Overdog are stronger than this, but definitely a really good 70s rock album. Next one is I'm slightly all over the place with genres and here as per normal. Jean-Michel Jarre and Equinox. So yeah, so this obviously not quite as famous as Oxygen, but in a similar vein. Played this, really enjoyed it. I think I probably enjoyed side 2 more than side 1, but you know, it's a really good thing to listen to if you're in the mood. So you know, I don't think Jean-Michel Jarre needs much more said about him. He gets, you know, kind of instrumental, slightly bombastic. Yeah, that's that. Is it prog? I don't know. Is it prog? Right, and this is, well, kind of VC inspired actually. This so this is Van Morrison, his band and his street choir, and the street choir, 1970. And the reason I played this, Moondance is probably my favourite Van Morrison album, although he's got a lot of strong albums. So that's, but Moondance is nearly a perfect album for me, and so I just think of 1970 Moondance and think no further. This also came out in 1970. And so I've kind of, whilst I've had it for ages, and I've got it on CD as well and played it, I kind of dismiss it as it just hasn't got the Moondance, you know, content. But a lot of people, well, a number of people have shown it over the months, and it's kind of, I think, oh, I need to go back to that and you know, because I dismiss it, I need to go back and revisit it, and I did. And it's really, really good album. It isn't as strong as Moondance in my eyes, you know, not nowhere near, but it is. You know, Van Morrison, you know, could sing the phone book for me, and it would be interesting. So yeah, but yeah, it's a good album, and I'm glad I went back to it. And then finally, God, 13 minutes to go through 10 albums. What am I on? So yeah, this is Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes and Hearts of Stone. So yeah, so I associate this with Bruce Springsteen, and Little Steven is part of this, isn't he, as well? Yeah, Stevie Van Zandt is part of this band, and obviously part of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. And I blow very hot and cold, normally cold, with Bruce Springsteen. And I think I got a couple of this band's albums when I was on a hot streak with Bruce Springsteen. And you know, at one point I probably had 10 plus Bruce Springsteen albums in the collection. I'm now on an extremely cold streak, and I've only got 2 Bruce Springsteen albums in the collection. Yeah. So I think with Bruce Springsteen, for me, it's because and this, you know, he doesn't speak to me. I can understand obviously the kind of messages in his songs, but I think he really speaks to blue collar America, not blue collar UK. You know, I'll go for the Specials or the Jam or something like that, and that they speak to me more about that kind of social side of life. So because I am from the UK, so you know, nothing against. I get what he's on about. It just doesn't quite chime with me. I could understand that it would chime with people from America, because you know he's very much talking about subject matters that they can relate to. So yeah, so and you know I enjoy Bruce Springsteen at times. As I said, I've even seen him live. Saw him live in Cardiff at the Millennium Stadium. You know, 3.5, 4 hours. He puts on a fantastic show. You know, epic, one of the best live concerts I've been to. But you know, and so I absolutely enjoyed that. But as I say, I don't reach for Bruce Springsteen albums very often. Right, I'll stop rambling. I've gone far too long, nearly 16 minutes. So okay, take care. I'll probably come back with another kind of show and tell video soon. Cheers, bye.